The massive Imperial ship appeared above Earth without warning. It emerged from the darkness of space, its silver hull gleaming in the sunlight. At nearly 5 miles long, it dwarfed everything humanity had ever built in space. The vessel hung there like a sword over the planet, waiting. Inside the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, Admiral James Walker stared at the main screen. His weathered face showed no fear, only careful consideration. Around him, the control room buzzed with activity as operators tracked the alien vessel's every move. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Mary Ross, her fingers moving quickly across her console. "They're asking to speak with Earth's leaders." Walker straightened his blue uniform, put them through on the main screen. The screen flickered to life, revealing a tall figure in ornate gold and black armor. The alien looked almost human, except for the slight purple tint to their skin and completely black eyes. "Greetings, primitive world." The alien spoke in perfect English. "I am High Commander Marcus of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our great civilization. Rejoice, for today marks the end of your isolation." Walker's eyes narrowed. He didn't like the commander's tone. "This is Admiral James Walker of the United Earth Defense Force. While we appreciate your offer, Earth will need time to consider any diplomatic proposals." The alien commander laughed. "You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not an offer. The Empire does not make offers. We are informing you of what will happen. Our scans show valuable resources on your world. You will submit to Imperial authority and begin resource extraction within one planetary rotation." The control room fell silent. Walker's jaw tightened. "Commander Marcus, Earth is a sovereign world. We do not submit to demands from anyone, no matter how advanced their ships might be." "How amusing," Marcus replied, his black eyes showing no emotion. "Perhaps a demonstration will help you understand your situation." He made a slight gesture, and 3 smaller ships detached from the main vessel. Warning signals blared across the control room. "Sir, they're charging weapons," Lieutenant Ross called out. Walker pressed a button on his chair. "All stations, defensive pattern Alpha. Let's show our visitors why it's unwise to threaten Earth." The Imperial ships fired their weapons, bright purple beams that streaked toward major cities. But instead of destruction, they met something unexpected. Invisible shields flickered into existence, absorbing the attacks completely. Commander Marcus's confident smile vanished. "Impossible. Our scans showed no such defensive capability." "There's a lot your scans didn't show," Walker replied calmly. "Earth is not the primitive world you think it is. This is your only warning. Withdraw your ships immediately. You dare threaten the Empire." Marcus snarled. "We will darken your skies with our fleet." Walker shook his head. "Look again, Commander." Hundreds of small objects emerged from hidden bases on Earth's moon. They moved with impossible speed, surrounding the Imperial ships in seconds. Each one carried a weapon that even Imperial sensors couldn't fully understand. "What you see is less than 1% of Earth's defensive capabilities," Walker explained. "We've known about the Empire for years. We've prepared. Earth isn't interested in joining your empire, Commander. In fact, we're declaring this entire solar system off-limits to Imperial forces." The alien commander's face showed shock for the first time. "You cannot do this. The Empire will leave," Walker interrupted. "Now, or we will demonstrate exactly why Earth has remained independent all these years." For a long moment, Commander Marcus stared at Walker. Then, without another word, the Imperial ships retreated. They vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving Earth's orbit empty once again. In the control room, someone started clapping. Soon, the whole room joined in. But Walker remained serious. He knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would return. And next time, they wouldn't underestimate Earth. "Send a message to all United Earth Council members," he ordered. "We need to prepare for war." As the sun set over Earth that day, Its people remained unaware of how close they had come to invasion. But in the depths of space, word was already spreading. Earth, the mysterious planet that had stayed hidden for so long, had just challenged the mighty Galactic Empire. And somehow, Earth had won the first round. 3 days after the first contact, the Imperial ship returned. This time, it stayed at the edge of the solar system, well away from Earth's defenses. Commander Marcus requested another meeting, but now his tone was different. Inside the United Earth Council chamber, Admiral Walker sat at a large round table with other world leaders. The massive screen before them showed the Imperial commander, who looked less confident than before. "Earth has impressed us," Marcus said, his voice smooth like oil. "Perhaps we were too direct in our first approach. The Empire wishes to discuss trade instead of submission." Director Anna Thompson of the Science Council leaned forward. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "What kind of trade?" "Our scans show large deposits of crystalline quantum materials in your planet's crust," Marcus explained. "The Empire would pay well for mining rights." Walker watched Thompson's face carefully. She had been studying the Empire's technology since their first appearance, and he could tell something was bothering her. "Commander," Thompson said, "your ships use these materials for faster-than-light travel, correct?" "Among other things, yes." Thompson pressed a button, and data appeared on screens around the room. "That's interesting, because our analysis shows your ships are actually much less advanced than you claim. You're burning through these crystals inefficiently. Your technology is wasteful." For the first time, anger flashed across Marcus's purple face. "How dare you? Our technology is the most advanced in the galaxy." "No," Thompson replied calmly. "It's not. You're using brute force where elegance is needed. That's why you're so desperate for these crystals. You're running out." The room fell silent. Marcus's black eyes narrowed to slits. "You know nothing of our needs. The Empire." "The Empire is lying," General Robert Stone interrupted. He was a broad-shouldered man with a scared face from years of fighting. "You're not here to trade. You want to take our resources because you're desperate." Marcus's friendly mask disappeared completely. "Then perhaps we should return to our original approach. The Empire maintains a peacekeeping force of 10,000 ships. How long do you think your defenses would last against that?" Walker stood up slowly. "Is that a threat, Commander?" "That is reality, Admiral. Submit to the Empire's authority, or face the consequences." The council members looked at each other. Then Walker smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Thank you, Commander. You've just made our decision much easier." He turned to the council president. "I move that we declare the entire solar system off-limits to the Empire. Permanently." "Seconded," Thompson said immediately. The vote was quick and unanimous. Walker turned back to the screen. "Commander Marcus, by order of the United Earth Council, this solar system is now closed to all Imperial forces. Any Imperial ship entering our space will be considered an act of war." Marcus laughed, but it sounded forced. "You cannot ban the Empire. We control 1,000 worlds. And yet you can't figure out basic quantum mechanics," Thompson added. "Interesting." "This is your final warning," Walker said. "Leave our solar system. Now." Marcus's face twisted with rage. "The Empire does not recognize your authority to make such demands. We will return, and you will learn the price of defiance." The transmission cut off. Moments later, the Imperial ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel. General Stone shook his head. "They'll be back with those 10,000 ships." "Let them come," Walker replied. "We've spent decades preparing for this. Earth won't stand alone either. I've already received messages from 3 other worlds asking for help against the Empire." Thompson nodded. "Their technology might be impressive to less advanced worlds, but they're not as powerful as they want everyone to believe. Their entire empire is built on intimidation and lies." "Then it's time to show the galaxy the truth," Walker said. He looked around the room at Earth's leaders. We didn't want this fight, but if the Empire insists on bringing war to our doorstep, we'll give them a war they'll never forget. As the council meeting ended, alerts were already going out across the solar system. Defense platforms powered up, hidden fleets emerged from their bases, and Earth's soldiers prepared for battle. The Empire thought they had found an easy target. Instead, they had just started a war that would change the galaxy forever. The Imperial fleet arrived exactly 1 week later. 200 warships jumped into the solar system, their metal hulls gleaming against the darkness of space. They formed a massive wall of ships, stretching out for thousands of miles. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Walker watched them approach. "Right on time," he said quietly, "and exactly as arrogant as we expected." The main screen lit up with Commander Marcus's face. He wasn't trying to hide his smugness anymore. "This is your last chance to surrender, Earth. My peacekeeping fleet will reduce your cities to ash if you refuse." Walker looked around the command center. Every officer stood ready at their station. Years of preparation had led to this moment. "I see only 200 ships, Commander. What happened to your 10,000? This small force is more than enough to handle one primitive world." Marcus sneered. "Fire the warning shot." One of the larger Imperial ships launched a massive energy beam at Earth. It was meant to pierce the atmosphere and explode high above the planet, a show of force to frighten the population. Instead, something unexpected happened. The beam hit what looked like empty space and split into thousands of smaller beams. These smaller beams shot back toward the Imperial fleet, hitting 20 ships before anyone could react. The damaged ships sparked and drifted, their power systems completely drained. Marcus's confident smile vanished. "What did you do?" "We told you this system was off limits," Walker replied calmly. "You chose not to listen. Lieutenant Ross, activate the defense grid." Across the solar system, hidden platforms came to life. Some emerged from the dark side of the moon. Others appeared from behind Mars and Venus. Even more rose from the asteroid belt. Each one carried weapons the Empire had never seen before. "Impossible," Marcus whispered. "Our scans showed nothing like this." "Your scans showed what we wanted them to show," Walker explained. "Earth has been preparing for threats like you for decades. This is your final warning. Leave our solar system, or we will destroy your fleet." Marcus's face turned dark with rage. "All ships, open fire. Destroy their defenses." The Imperial fleet launched everything they had. Purple energy beams and plasma torpedoes filled space, all targeting Earth's defense platforms. But they had badly underestimated what they were facing. Earth's platforms didn't try to dodge. Instead, they absorbed the enemy fire through quantum shields and sent it back, amplified many times over. Imperial ships began exploding one after another as their own energy was turned against them. Then Earth's real weapons activated. Swarms of small, unmanned fighters emerged from hidden bases on Mars. They moved faster than anything the Empire had ever encountered, using technology that bent space itself around them. The Imperial ships couldn't target them. By the time their weapons locked on, the fighters were already somewhere else. "This is impossible," Marcus screamed as another wave of his ships went dark. "You're supposed to be primitive. You can't have this technology." Walker stood up straight, his voice firm. "Commander, you made 3 mistakes. First, you assumed we were primitive because we chose not to join your empire. Second, you thought our isolation meant weakness. And third, you believe your own propaganda about imperial power." On the screen, Marcus watched helplessly as his fleet was torn apart. The few ships that tried to retreat were caught in gravity webs launched from Earth's defense platforms. In less than an hour, half the Imperial fleet was either destroyed or disabled. "This is how it ends, Commander," Walker said. "Earth doesn't want war, but we will not allow bullies to threaten our world. Stand down your remaining ships, or we will destroy them all." For a long moment, Marcus just stared at the screen. Then, with visible pain, He gave the order to surrender. The remaining Imperial ships powered down their weapons. As Earth's forces began securing the captured vessels, messages poured in from across the galaxy. Other worlds had been watching the battle. The news spread quickly. The mighty Imperial fleet had been defeated by a single primitive world. The Empire's age of unchallenged power was over. And Earth's message was clear. The solar system was now the most dangerous place in the galaxy for those who meant harm. The real war was just beginning. News of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The story grew with each telling. How a single primitive world had destroyed half of an Imperial fleet and captured the rest. Every spaceport, trading station, and colony world buzzed with excitement. In Earth's diplomatic center, Ambassador Thomas Reed sat across from his first alien visitor who wasn't from the Empire. The alien had blue skin and looked almost like a tall human, except for the silver markings on their face. "My people have suffered under Imperial rule for 300 years, the alien said quietly. "We are the resistance from the Centauri worlds. We came as soon as we heard about your victory." Reed nodded carefully. After the battle, Earth had received dozens of secret messages like this. "The Empire told everyone they were unbeatable," he said. "We proved that was a lie." "More than that," the alien replied, leaning forward. "Your quantum shield technology, it's beyond anything we've seen. The Empire claims they have the most advanced ships in the galaxy, but your weapons cut through them like paper." Before Reed could answer, Admiral Walker entered the room. He had dark circles under his eyes from days without sleep, but he moved with purpose. "Then perhaps it's time for other worlds to learn what we know." The alien's eyes widened. "You would share your technology." Walker sat down next to Reed. "The Empire maintains power by keeping other worlds dependent on their outdated technology. They're not as advanced as they claim. They just make sure nobody else can develop better systems." He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing the quantum shield designs. The alien stared at it in amazement. "This is just the beginning," Walker explained. "Earth is willing to share defensive technology with any world that wants to stand up to the Empire. We won't give you weapons, but we'll help you protect yourselves." Across the galaxy, similar meetings were happening in secret. Earth's diplomats traveled in disguised ships, meeting with resistance leaders and representatives from worlds tired of Imperial control. Back in the command center, Director Thompson showed Walker the latest reports. 3 more worlds have kicked out their Imperial governors," she said. "The Empire's grip is weakening. They can't control their territory without their usual fear tactics." "And our captured ships?" Walker asked. Thompson smiled. "Better than we hoped. The Empire's technology is impressive, but they don't understand half of what they're using. Most of their systems are copied from ancient ruins they found. That's why they're so inefficient." Suddenly, alarms blared through the command center. Lieutenant Ross's hands flew across her console. "Sir, we're detecting Imperial communications. Massive fleet movements across the galaxy." Walker moved to the main screen. The display showed hundreds of Imperial ships rushing to put down growing rebellions. But for every system they tried to control, 2 more rose up against them. "They're spreading themselves thin," Walker observed. "Just as we planned." The alien ambassador spoke up from where he had been quietly watching. "The Empire has always ruled through fear and lies. Once people stop being afraid, the whole system falls apart." Reed finished. New reports kept coming in. A mining colony had driven out Imperial forces using Earth-designed shields. A trading post had declared independence. 3 farming worlds had formed their own defense alliance. "The Empire won't accept this," Thompson warned. "They'll gather everything they have for one massive attack." Walker nodded grimly. "Good. Let them come. Every ship they send here is one less ship to oppress other worlds." He turned to the alien ambassador. "Tell your people to be ready. The real fight is about to begin." The ambassador stood straighter. "We've waited centuries for this chance. We won't waste it." As the ambassador left to spread the word, Walker looked out at the stars through the command center's window. The Empire had ruled the galaxy through fear for 1,000 years. Now, because they couldn't resist trying to conquer one primitive world, their entire empire was starting to crumble. Earth had done more than win a battle. They had started a revolution. And this was only the beginning. The warning came at midnight. Thousands of Imperial ships jumped into the solar system all at once. They filled the space between Mars and Jupiter, their engines burning bright against the black of space. This wasn't a peacekeeping force. This was the Empire's main battle fleet. Admiral Walker ran into the command center, still pulling on his uniform jacket. Status report. 3,000 Imperial warships, sir. Lieutenant Ross answered, her voice steady despite the tension. Including 5 super dreadnoughts. They're being led by the Imperial flagship itself. The main screen lit up, showing not Commander Marcus but a new face. This alien wore black armor decorated with red symbols of high rank. His purple skin was darker than Marcus's, and his black eyes showed no emotion at all. I am High Admiral Rex of the Imperial Fleet, he announced. Your rebellion ends today. Surrender now, and we may spare your population. Walker sat in his command chair, looking calm despite the massive fleet facing them. High Admiral, you're in restricted space. Leave immediately, or we will open fire. Rex's face didn't change. Your tricks worked against a small force. They will not save you today. I've studied the battle reports. We know what to expect. Do you? Walker asked quietly. He pressed a button on his chair. General Stone, are you in position? Ready and waiting. Admiral. Stone's voice came through clearly. Just give the word. The Imperial ships began to move, forming into attack positions. Their formation was perfect, designed to counter the tactics Earth had used in the last battle. Rex clearly thought he had figured out Earth's strategy. He was wrong. All units, execute Operation Thunderbolt, Walker commanded. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Rex watched his sensors carefully, waiting for Earth's defense platforms to appear. But they stayed hidden. Then space itself seemed to tear open. Hundreds of jump points appeared around the Imperial fleet. Not at the edge of the solar system where ships normally had to enter, but right in the middle of their formation. Earth's ships emerged from these impossible jumps, firing as they appeared. Impossible, Rex shouted. No one can jump this close to a star. We learned a lot from the ships we captured, Walker replied, including how to improve their jump drives. The battle erupted in every direction. Earth's smaller ships darted between the massive Imperial vessels, their enhanced engines letting them pull off maneuvers that should have been impossible. When the Empire fired their main weapons, Earth's ships simply weren't where they were aiming. Rex adjusted quickly. All ships switched to spread pattern firing. Don't let them use their quantum shields to reflect our attacks. Good plan, Walker admitted. But we planned for that too. Director Thompson. From hidden bases across the asteroid belt, new weapons activated. They didn't fire energy beams or missiles. Instead, they released clouds of tiny robots, each one smaller than a fingernail. The robots swarmed over Imperial ships, cutting through their hulls and disabling their weapons. What is this? Rex demanded as more of his ships went dark. This isn't the same technology you used before. Of course not, Walker said. Did you think we'd use the same tricks twice? Earth has been preparing for this moment for decades. We have weapons you've never seen before. The Imperial fleet's perfect formation broke apart as they tried to deal with attacks coming from every direction. Earth's ships struck fast and vanished before they could be targeted. The robot swarms kept spreading. The quantum shields absorbed and reflected any stray shots that might have hit Earth. When the Imperial super-dreadnoughts began to fall, Rex finally showed emotion. Full retreat, he ordered. All ships, emergency jump. But even their retreat was part of Earth's plan. Hidden gravity generators activated, trapping half the Imperial fleet in place. They could only watch as their faster ships abandoned them. In less than 2 hours, the Empire had lost its most powerful fleet. Walker stood up, looking at the battlefield displayed on his screen. Disabled Imperial ships drifted everywhere. Earth's forces were already moving in to capture them. "Send word to our allies," he ordered. "Tell them it's time for Phase 2. The Empire just lost its best ships and crews. They'll never be stronger than they are right now." The real war for freedom was about to begin. And this time, Earth wouldn't be fighting alone. 1 month after Earth's victory over the Imperial fleet, the galaxy erupted in rebellion. The news had spread everywhere. The Empire's best ships were destroyed or captured. Their strongest admiral had retreated in defeat. The Empire wasn't invincible anymore. Ambassador Reeb stood in Earth's diplomatic center, watching reports flood in from across the galaxy. Each glowing dot on the big map showed another world rising up against Imperial control. 20 new rebellions just today, Director Thompson said, walking up beside him. "And those are just the ones we know about." Reed nodded. "And the technology we shared. Working perfectly. The quantum shields are stopping Imperial attacks everywhere. The Empire can't just bomb rebellious planets into submission anymore." The door opened and Admiral Walker entered, followed by representatives from a dozen alien worlds. They gathered around the large conference table, each bringing their own reports of victory and rebellion. The blue-skinned leader of the Centauri resistance spoke first. "The Empire has completely lost control of the Orion Arm. Their ships are retreating from every major port." "Same in the Perseus sector," added another alien, this one with red scales. 3 major Imperial bases have surrendered without a fight. Their soldiers know they can't win anymore. Walker studied the map carefully. The Empire is pulling back, trying to protect their core worlds. They're abandoning their outer territories. "Not just abandoning," Thompson corrected. "Their own military commanders are switching sides. Look at this." She pressed a button, and a new message appeared on the main screen. It was from an Imperial general, commanding 50 ships. He was offering to surrender his entire fleet to Earth in exchange for protection. "He's not the only one," Reed said. "We've received similar messages from Imperial commanders across the galaxy. They've seen what happened to High Admiral Rex's fleet. They know they can't win against our technology." Suddenly, Lieutenant Ross burst into the room. "Sir, urgent news from the Imperial capital." The screen changed to show chaos in the Empire's main city. Crowds filled the streets. Imperial guards were throwing down their weapons or running away. The Imperial palace itself was burning. "The revolution has reached their homeworld," Walker said quietly. "This is happening faster than we expected." One of the alien representatives stood up. "We should attack now. While they're weak, we could destroy the Empire completely." But Walker shook his head. "No, Earth didn't start this fight to become a new empire. We fought to stop bullies from attacking weaker worlds. If we attack their homeworld now, we're no better than they were." "Then what do you suggest?" asked the Centauri leader. Reed stepped forward. "We offer them a choice. The Empire can transform into a peaceful confederation, with each world having equal rights and representation. Or they can remain isolated, banned from trading or traveling to any world that joins our alliance. And if they refuse both options..." Walker gestured at the map showing Earth's forces and allied fleets spread across the galaxy. "Then they'll face not just Earth, but every world they ever tried to control. But I don't think it will come to that." As if to prove his point, another urgent message arrived. The Imperial Senate had arrested their supreme leader. They were requesting immediate peace talks. "It's really happening," Thompson said softly. "The empire that ruled for 1,000 years is falling apart in just a few months." Walker looked around the room at the representatives of dozens of worlds, all working together. "The Empire's greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth," he said. "It was making all of you believe you were weak, that you needed their protection and control. Earth just showed everyone the truth. Any world can be strong if they stand up for themselves. As the representatives began discussing plans for the future, Reed watched the continuing reports of celebration and liberation across the galaxy. The Empire had spent centuries keeping worlds divided and dependent. Now those same worlds were uniting, growing stronger together. And it all started because the Empire couldn't accept one simple message. Earth was off limits. 1 year after Earth's first contact with the Empire, the galaxy was a very different place. The massive Imperial Palace, once home to supreme leaders who ruled through fear, now hosted representatives from hundreds of free worlds. They gathered in what was once the throne room, now transformed into the Chamber of Equals. Admiral Walker stood at the chamber's entrance, watching alien leaders from across the galaxy take their seats. Some had once been Imperial governors. Others were former resistance fighters. Now they all sat together as equals. Ambassador Reed approached him, holding a datapad. "The last Imperial holdouts signed the peace treaty this morning," he said. "It's really over." Walker nodded. "And the new Confederation, growing stronger every day. 150 worlds have already joined. Each one gets an equal vote in all decisions." Reed smiled. "It's quite different from how the Empire ran things." Director Thompson joined them, her eyes bright with excitement. "You should see what's happening now that worlds are sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it. We've already found 3 different approaches to faster-than-light travel that the Empire tried to keep secret." The chamber grew quiet as the first meeting of the new Galactic Confederation began. The Centauri leader, now elected as first speaker, stood to address everyone. "A year ago, we all lived under Imperial control," he said. "They told us we were weak, that we needed their protection, that their way was the only way." He paused, looking around the room. Then one world proved them wrong. All eyes turned to the Earth delegation. "Earth showed us that being isolated doesn't mean being weak," the first speaker continued. "They proved that any world can be strong if they're willing to stand up for themselves. And more importantly, they showed us how to be strong without becoming bullies ourselves." Walker remembered how many had wanted to destroy the Empire completely, how some had called for revenge. But Earth had stood firm. They wouldn't replace one empire with another. The first speaker held up a document. "This new confederation is built on simple rules. Every world has the right to govern itself. No world may force its ways on another. And any world that tries to build a new empire will face all of us together." "And Earth's policy?" someone asked. Walker stepped forward. "Remains the same. Our solar system is still off limits to military forces, but we're open to peaceful visitors, traders, and anyone seeking knowledge." "Earth has become something unique," Reed added. "A neutral ground where all worlds can meet safely. Our no-entry policy now protects peace talks, trade negotiations, and scientific conferences." Thompson activated a hologram showing dozens of new ships under construction. "We're building a peacekeeping fleet, not to control or dominate, but to protect worlds that ask for help. Any world that joins the Confederation can request protection." The first speaker nodded. "The Empire believed that peace came through force. Earth showed us it comes through cooperation and mutual respect." As the meeting continued, Walker walked to the chamber's large window. He could see ships from 100 different worlds moving peacefully through space. Imperial warships now carried traders and diplomats. Former enemies worked together on space stations. "Quite a change from our first contact," Reed said, joining him at the window. Walker smiled. The Empire thought they found an easy target. Instead, they found the one world that would stand up to them. And by standing up, we gave others the courage to do the same. "And the future? Earth will keep its borders closed to any military force," Walker replied. "But our minds and hearts remain open to peaceful contact. That's the message we'll keep sending to the galaxy. You don't need an empire to be strong. You just need the courage to stand up for what's right." Above them, ships from across the galaxy continued their peaceful journeys. The empire that ruled for 1,000 years was gone, replaced by something better. And it all started with a simple message that became a legend across the stars. Earth bans Galactic Empire. Entry forbidden. The end.